Have you ever heard of the pink body of water saltier than the ocean? Well, say hello to Lake Hillier, a pink patch of water in Australia. Can you drink this cotton candy water? Can you swim in it? What kind of creatures live in this straight out of a movie lake? And how do you get even close enough to witness all of its natural glory? Stick around till the end of this video to learn every interesting fact there is to know about this nature's wonder, which apparently has something in common with carrots, of all things. Let's get started. It's true, in Australia has some gorgeous, vividly pink lakes that appear to be straight out of the cotton candy dream. Geographically, schools teach us that water bodies denoted on maps with the color of blue, but nature likes to play tricks on us and produces wonders like Western Australia's Lake Hillier. Get this, it's pink! Next to the Pacific Ocean, the contrast between the lake's soft pink and ocean's deep blue is a sight to die for. On Middle Island, off the coast of Western Australia, Lake Hillier is arguably well-known and Instagrammable attraction. When compared to the turquoise water directly across from it, its pink tint makes some rather wacky bird's-eye view. In fact, we're very well covered in these vivid pink curiosities, like Lake Erie, Lake McDonald, and Lake Woonagana in South Australia, the pink lakes in Victoria, and our own Hutt Lagoon on the Coral Coast. But on an island off the coast of Experience is our favorite one, the most dazzling Lake Hillier, which really must be seen to be believed. Wondering why these lakes are pink? It's been a mystery for a while, but one that's never been solved. Danilia salina, a species of algae that thrives in saline settings like the Pink Lakes, was discovered to be present in pink bodies of water like Lake Hillier. The unusual hues of pink lakes are the result of a carotenoid red pigment released by the microorganism Halobacteria and D. salina. These salt-loving photosynthetic bacteria turn visible light frequencies into orange-red. And get this, the Danilia salina can survive in environments with extremely high salt concentrations, up to 35%, ranging from 2%. Also, a fun fact, the pink lake has something in common with carrots. Did you know that the beta-carotene carotenoid pigments that these tiny pink lake creatures generate is the same pigment found in carrots? Well, now you do. Lake Hillier, in contrast to other pink lakes, maintains its year-round vivid bubblegum pink color, which means you're going to be taken by surprise no matter what time of the year you visit. Even though the lake only measures about 600 by 250, its setting on a beautiful island near the island's ocean brilliant blue seas makes it a fabulous sight to see. So if you're like us and can't wait to get there, we've got some great news. Unlike other pink lakes in Australia, Lake Hillier can only be reached by air or sea. Flying is your best bet for the most breathtaking views. Only by boat or scenic aircraft are you able to see the pink in Lake Hillier. And getting to the 6-kilometer island isn't the easiest thing in the world, but totally worth it. If you take the boat tour, you'll be dropped off on the island to visit its 1830s camp ruins of Jack Anderson, the only known pirate from Australia. Now, the Research Archipelago is a wildlife reserve, so the islands are very much a look but do not touch situation. So you can't typically walk on the island or swim in the lake. Hypothetically though, you couldn't swim in it. Even though the bacteria gives the lake its particular hue, the pink pond isn't poisonous. Because of its unusual appearance, some people hesitate to swim in the pink water. Yet the water is completely safe. Even then, to preserve this natural phenomenon, the authorities don't really allow anyone to swim in the lake. Due to the high saltwater content of the water, we assume that you would float similar to how you would in the Dead Sea. So while in theory it's possible to swim in the pink lake, we wouldn't recommend it. Also, the locals encourage guests to leave the place in the same condition that they found it. It's best to follow that so we can preserve these natural treasures for future generations to come. Also, whatever you do, don't drink the water from the pink pond. We know it reminds you of your breakfast smoothie, but this water is highly salty and not safe for human consumption. The high salt concentration in the water can seriously hamper your body's capacity to maintain healthy levels of sodium and chloride. The human cell membranes, though generally effective at preventing salt from entering the cell, aren't entirely foolproof in the end. So it is entirely possible that when you drink this pink water, your cells might not be able to lock away the water readily, and the osmotic pressure could disturb your body's electrolytes. As a result, your body cells begin to shrink and your kidneys will work overtime to flush out the excess sodium. In short, if you drink the pink water, you could actually end up losing more water than you consumed and might quickly become dehydrated. And that's even before considering all the harmful microorganisms you could ingest if you take a sip from the pink lake. So, unless a visit to the hospital is on your bucket list, stay clear. Now, you might be wondering if anything survives in such a high salty water content. The only living things in Pink Lake are microorganisms like red halobacteria, which is found in the salt crusts, and Danulio salina, a red algae that contributes to the lake's salt content and produces a red dye that gives this lake its color. Scientists conducted research on the lake and discovered Silobacter rubber, Decloromanus aromatica, and a few archaea species in the lake using a metagenomic analysis. The majority of the microecology of hypersaline lakes like Hillier typically consist of bacteria and archaea. All of this combined gives the lake its pink color, and precisely because the high salt content, fish can't survive in this lake. The same way there's no fish in the Dead Sea. But here's the thing, even though the water is colored, it's transparent and safe for your skin. So in a way, this particular bubblegum pond is similar to most seas and oceans in the world, with the notable exception that there are no large-scale species like fish to worry about. Matthew Flinders, a navigator and geographer, first found the Hillier Lake in 1802. He discovered this magnificent pink lake while surveying the surrounded waters from the top of Middle Island's tallest point, today known as Fiddler's Peak. He wrote in his journal that he was taken back to see a little lake of rose color. The lake was given the name Hillier in honor of William Hillier, a recent crew member who passed away from dysentery when the ship was stopped at the island. The lake appeared to be salty as the Dead Sea when the crew stepped ashore to investigate, so they dutifully stocked up on salt from the lake's banks. Early in the 20th century, the lake was mined for salt, but the activity has since been discontinued, and today is regarded as one of Australia's natural marvels. The first and only attempt to extract salt from the lake was made in 1889, when a man by the name of Edward Andrews investigated whether he might establish a business on the island. So, in the late 19th century, a salt mine was put in operation. However, this didn't go for longer than 6 years, mostly because of the high degree of toxicity in the lake salt that was gathered. The lake is about 150,000 m2 in size, which is fairly small if you think about it. It can be seen clearly from above, where it appears to be a solid bubblegum pink. The view is absolutely breathtaking, since it highlights the stark contrast between the Southern Ocean's deep blue sea and its surrounding dark green flora and pink-hued water. The best part? It's surrounded by a rim of dunes and a dense paperback and eucalyptus forest. It is situated in pure wilderness, secluded by nature itself. The water becomes transparent as you move closer to the lake, but it still has a very noticeable pink color. Even after being taken from the lake and bottled, the water retains its rosiness. The lake is nearly 10 times saltier than the adjacent ocean due to its shallow nature, salt crust deposits along its shores, and other factors. Right now, a helicopter is the only way to see this amazing scene. You can book tours which offer a helicopter ride off Lake Hillier and the beautiful Richelieu Archipelago, located just off of Experience, which is only a day's drive, or 2 hours by air from Perth. The excursion will cost you about $2,000, but hey, what's a couple of dollars in front of such a natural marvel?